Hi there, I'm Rick DeBrule.
And I'm April Rose.
You know, at the 2026 Scottsdale auction held at Westworld in January, Barrett-Jackson featured an incredible lineup of no-reserve collector cars all up on the auction block.
And the event's top sellers range from vintage sports cars to late model supercars to iconic muscle cars and handcrafted resto mods.
So let's take a look at the highest selling cars presented by CRC Industries at the world's greatest collector car auction.
Coming in at number 10, this sweet 1966 Lincoln Continental Custom Convertible.
I love this one, powered by a Gen 2 Coyote engine underneath that hood.
Yeah, and it features a Ride-Tech air ride suspension and 20-inch custom wheels.
Well, 67 was the final year for the four-door convertible, this being the next to last year, but instead of the 430 or the 462, this has the 5-liter Coyote.
A Coyote painted to match in turquoise, but you can see all the modern wiring for the Coyote still in there, so it looks like maybe a dropout swap from something with the 5.0 in it. $450,000 the Coyote. Wow, $500,000. Holy smokes.
Well, there's a battle on for this one, and it's PPG light blue pearl over saddle brown ultra leather, $575. This thing that April previewed this car for us earlier, and the bidders responded. $650, $675, $750, $800.
Wow, so suicide door Lincoln convertible, modernized in all the right ways. Those wheels milled to look like a vintage 60s Lincoln, and now $1 million.
How about that? $1 million for a 66 Lincoln convertible custom. That's incredible.
Number 9 on the list, a 2023 Porsche Brabus 900 Rocket R.
Now, this is one of 2 that are legal for use in the U.S. and just one of 25 produced worldwide.
It's finished in Mexico blue and powered by a 3.8-liter twin turbo that pumps out 900 horsepower.
Yeah, Brabus is known for their totally bonkers designs and tuning of German vehicles. And this Porsche, it's just incredible. The wide body treatment given with extra carbon fiber. You can see sort of the gills coming out the front and rear quarters. That's all Brabus there, kind of looking like a GT3, if you will. Crazy Mexico blue color with the blue interior to match. And then the engine tuning as well, 900 horsepower. So way more than stock as far as the Porsche 911 Turbo S.
This car was purchased new by Milton Verrett as a 992 Turbo S, sent to Brabus. He waited a year to get it back as a Rocket R, the only one they have built in Mexico blue. It has 936 miles.
You can see these wheels are custom to Brabus as well, still with the center locks. And here's what I'm talking about, sort of this racing style, sort of gill exit for the brakes. Same here, widened in the rear, very different from a normal 992 that's already a pretty aggressively styled car with the Turbo S. And same with this duckbill, kind of like the older Porsches.
Emma's bidder on the stage, anxiously waiting for the hammer. Auctioneer asking for $1,050,000. No, there's the hammer. They got it. $1 million.
Coming in at number 8, 1963 Corvette 327, 360 horsepower, 06, a big tank, split window.
Yeah, this is powered by a matching numbers L84 engine with a Muncie 4-speed manual transmission.
And this one has that big 36-gallon tank and has won Bloomington Gold and Top Flight awards.
Here's a 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 big tank split window coupe.
And $1,000,001 all through. $1,000,001 and $1,000,001 and $1,000,001 and a half. Sold for $1 million. Time.
Moments ago, this 1963 split window Corvette with the big tank option for endurance racing, one of only 63 so produced and subject to a professional Neighbor Brothers restoration, just sold for $1 million, making it the 7th seven-figure car of this auction.
Number 7 on our list, it's a 2022 Ford GT.
The power, a 3.5-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 engine and 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission.
Now this is just one of one with a gloss exterior carbon fiber package.
If you were selected to buy a Ford GT, you were sent a beautiful carbon fiber briefcase with a kit including small models on which you could put different wheels, different colored parts, different colored stripes. And here we are at $700,000, somewhat close to this car's original MSRP.
700 grand, and speaking of carbon fiber, you saw it on the front with the lower splitter and the side skirts, but this isn't a carbon edition since it would have had the exposed carbon fiber body with the stripe. This one having that orange stripe signifies it's a normal production Ford GT, but nothing normal here about the price.
At $800,000, it's the top retail sale of the day. Now, Ford had a very complicated application process, hoping to get these cars into the hands of people who would drive them. However, once the cars arrived, the values skyrocketed and a lot of them spent more garage time than road time. This one has been driven 1,264 miles, and I would say it's among the higher odometers of this generation of GT.
Yeah, it's probably about double its original MSRP, and it's, yeah, basically an instant collectible, and it's just a beautiful design. That flying buttress C-pillar is just so iconic, and it really accentuates, you know, the racing heritage of this Ford GT. And that EcoBoost 3.5-liter V6 was used in racing, so even though it's the V6, it is an incredible machine.
Well, for a while, these were $1 million plus automobiles as they begin to come out from underneath Ford's 2-year embargo on resale. But now there are several in play. I think this is going to be a market price right here. $975, not quite done with a bidder on the floor and one in the skybox. Here we are at $1 million. That's where the hammer falls, $1 million for a 2022 Ford GT, serial number 14, with 1,264 miles. Well done.
Coming in at number 6, 2022 Ford GT 64 Heritage Edition.
Yeah, carbon fiber construction. It's even got carbon fiber wheels.
Full factory documentation with only 320 miles.
Here it is.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. The sort of Wimbledon white with the dark blue hood on top and a blue stripe. And yeah, already crossed $1 million. The Heritage car is definitely the most desirable in the Ford GT world. And yeah, we've already rocked it cost $1 million.
For each of the last 2 generations of Ford GTs, the Heritage cars have been highly prized and draw a premium. Most of them were Le Mans winners. This was not. The Ford GT in 1964 was called the GT40, as it was only 40 inches tall from the ground to the roof. It was built from the Lola Mark 6 GT, built in England, provided the bones of it, and Ford took things from there.
Yeah, there's the flying buttress C-pillar that Mike was talking about compared to the Ferrari, but also there's a bit of carbon fiber exposed in this stripe, similar to the Carbon series, and the wheels are actually carbon fiber wheels, but they've been painted on the outside in the same dark blue as the Heritage colors.
That color is antimatter blue, as this recalls GT 101, the very first 64 Ford GT prototype that launched their Le Mans racing program. And we backed up the bid. No, here we are, 1.1. 1.1 million on the stage. Now $1,125,000. And that's where it sells. $1,125,000.
Before we get to number 5, make sure you like and subscribe down below. You're going to want to watch more. All right, number 5 on this list is a 2021 McLaren Elva.
The power is from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 rated at 804 horsepower paired with that 7-speed dual-clutch transmission.
It's the carbon fiber Ultimate Series McLaren with active air management.
The name given to this car, Elva, was a small vehicle manufacturer in England in 1964 when Bruce McLaren started making copies of his race cars for others to drive. Elva built the customer cars. They re-brought the name back for this beauty.
And already at $1 million, unbelievable. Even though it's missing something, a windshield. That was by design. You can see all the vents here. That is for an aerodynamic system to push air away from the driver, push the air up, so you can not get beat up by the wind, because obviously it doesn't have a windscreen. Totally open top. You can put on a helmet or not. Either way, still reasonably comfortable. And these are very rare cars. Already out $1,200,000. Wow.
This will be the 6th 7-figure sale of this auction today. Just incredible. Ford Superlight alloy wheels, 19s in front, 20s in the back. Pirelli P0 Corsa tires, 660 miles.
And believe it or not, the exhaust exit is up much higher than you would think. So you have quad exhaust, 2 coming out here and 2 down lower. That's one of McLaren's calling cards. And you can catch a bit of the engine here in this little mesh grill there around the carbon fiber. But yeah, beautiful machine.
We're at $1,375,000 on the stage. And there's the hammer.
Number 4, we got a 2011 Ferrari 599 GTO.
Powered by a 6-liter F140 V12 engine, it also has an F1 superfast 6-speed automated transaxle.
And one of only 599 made.
The 599 GTO does not have a big competition history, but it has great demand.
Yeah, GTO, 3 legendary letters, and among the Ferrari world, the original GTO, the most valuable Ferrari in the world, but this one's still pretty valuable at over $1 million right away. GTO means Gran Turismo homologation, so the racing car for the street, and they made 599 of these 599 GTOs with over 600 horsepower from the front-mounted Enzo V12.
This one was originally delivered in Vancouver, but in its 15 years of existence, it's only covered 531 miles.
And these are controlled by an F1 paddle shift transmission, so a manual transmission, but a computer controlling the clutch. And yeah, that Enzo V12, very unique to see the front engine GT Ferrari getting the Halo V12 car. That's what makes the 599 such an amazing machine. And then for them to bring back the GTO name after about 30 years, the 288 GTO before it, makes this one even more special with a price to match.
What's your definition of out of control?
This has the Daytona bucket seats and a lot of carbon fiber trim. We're at $1.25 million. Flying buttress, there off the C-pillar, very similar to the modern Ford GT. And we're at $1.3 million with a bidder on the stage, 1 on the phone, and 1 in the skybox.
When the 599 entered production, Ferrari was still winning at Formula One, but they haven't won now for, well, going on 20 years, something like that. So yeah, that's part of that Ferrari racing heritage right here, and it's definitely last of its breed as far as these front-engine V12 sort of analog Ferraris with that legendary GTO badging.
We're at $1.5 million bid. Emma's bidder on the block, on the phone. Bidder in the skybox. Wait, wait, wait. Hope he doesn't have a busy signal there. Now we backed up to $1,004,500. Now $1,475,000, and it sells at $1,475,000. Perhaps the most capable front-engine Ferrari of all time.
Time for our top three. Number 3 on the list, a 1961 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster.
It has the correct 3-liter fuel-injected inline 6 paired with a 4-speed manual transmission.
And this one features factory 4-wheel disc brakes, and it's got a matching numbers drivetrain.
The Roadster came a few years later after the Gullwing. The Gullwing 1954, the Roadster in 1957. It was the only year that the Gullwing and the Roadster overlapped, and then it was all Roadsters from here on out. So 1961, Roadster only, and a lot of refinements in the suspension to make it less twitchy, and in the doors, making the sills lower so you could put on traditional doors, higher performance, and you could get disc brakes. This is a disc brake car, and once again restored to an incredibly high quality.
And an incredible price. We're at $1.6 million. 1.7.
And here's that inline 6 mounted at 45 degrees, so the valves over there, the beautiful intake leading into the engine there, and that's the reason for the bump out on the hood to clear the valve cover.
All right, Ed has a bidder on the internet working against the bidders in the crowd for this incredible restoration by Coachworks of Victoria, British Columbia. Engine fully rebuilt. They went through the entire drive line, retrimmed the interior and brightwork, fitted luggage included. This is the number 2 sale of the auction right now. Sold to the internet, $1.7 million.
Number 2, 2019 McLaren Senna.
Yeah, just 500 of these were built. This is number 422. It's powered by that 4-liter twin-turbo V8, rated at 789 horsepower.
Finished in full exposed gloss carbon fiber with McLaren orange accent.
Chassis number 422 of just 500 produced worldwide.
Well, I don't think it'll take long for this Senna to follow up that 4GT for $1 million. Yep. Here we go.
That was quick.
So this Senna is the track-focused McLaren supercar, built to go track racing without any kind of compromise. Not really that great for the street, but just a crazy bonkers look. And this one with an exposed carbon fiber body, which was an enormously expensive option.
Enormous being $379,000 in options over and above the base car. 3,700 miles on this one.
If you look down at the bottom of the door, there's actually another window showing the passenger's legs. That's sort of a quirk with the McLaren Senna, exclusive to these cars for whatever reason. But also, you look up, the McLaren Senna has a roof scoop feeding fresh air into that twin-turbo V8 in the back.
We're at $1.7 million bid.
So this one's been driven some a little over 3,000 miles. So enjoyed a bit.
Bidder in the skybox is saying, drop the hammer, drop the hammer. Bidder on the block, one in the crowd. There it goes, $1.7 million. And that is the top seller of the auction up in the skybox.
And it is time now for the #1 sale overall at the Scottsdale Barrett-Jackson auction. A 1955 Mercedes-Benz, a 300 SL gullwing coupe.
Powered by a correct 3-liter fuel-injected inline-6 and 4-speed manual transmission.
It's had a complete comprehensive restoration, and this thing has lots of documentation.
This car is a very historic car. This will be the finest 300 SL ever offered for private sale at private auction. This is one of the top 10 300 SLs in the world, and it comes to us to the generosity of Lynn and John LaBarbera. Wave there. They donated this car to the California Highway Patrol, and I want to do a wave out to the first responders, the men and women of the California Highway Patrol, because every dollar of the hammer price goes to the CHP 1199 Foundation.
Absolutely. Now, this started as a regular consignment, and he was going to sell it and then donate the money. And I said, I think it'll work better if we split this. So this is not a standard charity car, but what's going to happen?
So the 300 SL Gullwing is a design icon. The Gullwing doors were designed out of necessity because of the tubular chassis. So the sill is mounted very high on this one, and they needed to have a closed top for racing, so they made the Gullwing doors to be able to enclose the car. And so that design, this icon, just came out of practicality. This is the first production car to have direct fuel injection, over 200 horsepower, and originally these were only race cars. And a man named Max Hoffman said, hey, if you build civilian production versions of this is American, I'll sell every single one. And he's right. People credit these with being the original supercar. Some say the Lamborghini Miura, but I believe, I'm in the camp that the 300 SL is the original supercar.
To suit the low hood line, that 6-cylinder is laid down at a 45-degree angle to allow the hood line to be as low as it can be, rather than vertical mounting, which would be more difficult to have a sleek line.
Great cars to drive. They're very capable, and everyone should be proud to own one.
Speaking of that, is Mike Coons, the head of the Mercedes Classic Center in California, who does beautiful restorations.
Absolutely.
Look in, who wants to
A
start
multiple
behind?
show winner just out of the Mercedes Classic Center. And you saw the couple that is donating the car. They came, I had dinner with Bruce Meyer last Thursday. They came to him and they said, we have no one to leave this car to. Would you like to auction it to benefit the California Highway Patrol 1199 Foundation? And here is where Bruce chose to bring it to sell. Barrett-Jackson, where it's at $1.5 million, 1.6.
Now our top
$2
seller.
million bid.
Wow. Every 300 SL is special, but this one even more special with the Rudge knockoff wheels and this high quality restoration, just astoundingly nice.
I have a feeling we're not done.
So there are a reason for these bump outs in the hood. There's two pieces of it, and one is to clear the inline 6 engine, and the other one just to make it symmetrical, because that inline 6 engine does sit pretty tall, so they had to slant it at a 45-degree angle for it to fit. The direct fuel injection is on the side.
Of course, Chevrolet liked that design so much they used it on the 57 Corvette hood.
We're at $2.2 million on an incredible car. Numbers matching from bumper to bumper. And freshly restored, multiple show winner. One of the best ever.
This one does come with matching luggage in the back. The gray leather interior comes with that gray suitcase. It was something that you could do back in the day. Very rare to find now.
$2.3 million to the California Highway Patrol 1199 Foundation. What an incredible donation. What an incredible car. And a great story.
Thanks for checking out our top 10 sellers presented by CRC Industries from Barrett-Jackson's 2026 Scottsdale auction.
And make sure you click down below to like and subscribe.